Where are we at now? What is going on now? What are we doing?
So William said that Sam was the landlord, which is not what we heard originally. And so then he said Sam was going to call you,
which he never did.
And that was last week. So he never did. So we're just following up with him. He wanted, he said he was tired of it and wanted to, move on. So we're just, I guess, going to the landlord now and talking lease terms is what.
It's 2,300 square feet. Sam is the guy. The location is operating by these family members loosely, and they have admitted those words that they're tired. So we just need a friggin' rate of rent so that we can move forward, so that you can start demolishing this place. In all of the numbers that we have, which number is Sam's number here? Have we verified that? Do we know?
We never got Sam's. No, we did not get it.
He said that he'd call me back.
777.
So William's number is the best plausible current number.
Correct.
All right, off we go.
All right.
Subscribe. Don't miss the live comedy.
Hello.
Hey, Bill, it's Danny, the laundry guy. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Never felt better, never had more.
Okay.
We are excited again about getting in touch with the right family member so that we can talk lease terms here on Central Avenue.
What you think? Tell me what you're thinking, so I know what to throw at my brothers.
Sure. Well, last time you said talk to Sam, but he never called me. I've been in the business for 20 years. Sure. I've been in the business for 20 years. My partner and I are looking to build out more stores here, and we want to lease the space from you and retool it, put new equipment in, and operate it. We need at least a 15-year term because we need to retool it and, again, spend all that money on washers and dryers. You're in the business.
Understandable.
You're in the
business.
business.
Understandable.
You know what it costs. You understand.
100%.
We're not buying buildings currently. We're looking to become a far better mousetrap, a better laundromat, a better tenant. We have coat drives in the winter. We have barbecues in the summer. We do advertise, which a lot of laundries don't. We intend to just be, again, a phenomenal tenant for you and make a few dollars. I can't tell you.
Of course.
I can't tell you what I'm thinking, Bill. I'm not trying to play cards with you here, but the square footage and the rate of rent is up to you. You need to start that conversation. On a 15-year term, what's your asking rate?
Well, right now, our neighbors are paying almost $2,500 a month. But again, if you're trying to do a 15-year lease and renovate the building, I mean, we can work something out. Every year, you already know you're in the business, so it goes up. I think 3%, or I don't know how it works, but I gotta get all them details for you and get back to you on that. But
let's go with that. All I have are words, right? You and I are talking.
Yes.
You said your neighbor is spending $2,500 a month. What type of business is that? What's next door?
He's got a cell phone store.
Okay.
They own a cell phone store, Total Wireless.
Total Wireless has what to do with a laundromat?
Nothing.
I talk about that because it's funny, because if you walk into Total Wireless in the middle of a Wednesday, there's probably nobody in there. They don't need anybody in there.
No.
They don't make their money selling phone cases. They make their money selling minutes through their supplier. So we get that. We understand that. Completely and utterly different. And I want to touch on this, my friend. I was told to call your brother. I was told that Sam is the guy that does this, but now I've got your contact. So here's the thing. I'm different than Total Wireless because I don't have inventory on the shelves. I don't sell minutes. I need to spend $350,000, maybe $400,000 on washers and dryers.
Correct.
So what I'm asking, look, I need to know what your best possible rate is on 15 years. I've called you for over a month. And I'll send you a letter of intent, but once I know that we're close, but we need to sharpen our pencils and make that rate better.
100%. I agree with you. I mean, I like your style. I like your, business mentalities.
Thank you. That means a lot.
I wish you were talking. I wish you were talking. Yeah, I wish you were talking. See, Sam's more experienced in the business world. I'm still kind of new. That's why I'm kind of stuttering and not knowing what to say and how to say, because I don't want to say something wrong. But let me for sure get hold of my brother today, and I'll get back to you no later than this week. I promise. I'll let you know some numbers.
Bill.
Okay.
We want to change your family owns this plaza.
Correct.
We want to change dude, if you want to sell this plaza a year or two from now, imagine selling it with a wireless store and a big, beautiful, shiny 24-hour coin laundromat that is a community service. That's all I'm saying. That's what we offer. Right.
It makes a big difference. Yes, it makes a big difference.
And we'll ask for first right of refusal, and maybe we'll be the ones that buys it from you. Who knows? I've done that before. Right now, for obvious reasons, we're not looking to purchase dirt. Right now, we're building more laundries. My name's Danny D'Angelo. My partner is a major in the Air Force, Mr. Jordan, and I'll get to the letter of intent. But first, we need to know the rate of rent. Then we'll try to beat you up on abatement. Yes. We can't get the equipment in the store. All the little things come next. You've got my cell phone number. Save my name as Danny D'Angelo. We'll do a conference call. Okay. No pressure. Just get back with me, bro.
I will. I'll get back to you later on this week.
Thank you, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Oy vey.
He seemed pretty understanding of, what's expected of this type of stuff, like rent abatement, need lower rent. He understands that we are not a cellular.
Look,
so that's good. I noticed that a lot. That
he gave me a compliment. That does mean a lot to me. When we're on the battlefield, I've knocked him off his horse. I'm standing over him with my mace and my sword, and he says, "I yield to you, sir." That is essentially, he says, "Hey, I like your style. I wish I had more experience in laundry." Yeah, everybody wants to run a laundromat. Bill wants to run a laundromat. But at what cost? At what understanding of the business? Right. Do he and his family want to spend all of the time that it takes to get really good at this and operate that store? Or do they want to hand it off to someone like you, i.e. me, and have us work together and make the place? And that's why at the end, I got to turn the screws a little bit and say, all I have are words. There's no charts or graphs. I'm just going to say, hey, imagine this big, beautiful store. Everybody wants to sell something. Everything's for sale. Hey, Bill, sell it in a year when it's a big, beautiful, gorgeous laundromat.
Right. Yep. And he gets that, which is good.
But we also can't be pushy. We're calling this guy again and again and again. We can't be pushy. We need to get him on in the right state of mind. Jesus, the first time I called, they were both at a party across the table from each other and said, call him in an hour. I'm like,
okay. Sounds good, yeah.
you know when to adjust the flaps and when to trim out the wings. I know people, and that's 97% of this. I'm not a lease expert. I don't have any initials after my name. I just know people. I play the man, not the cards. Sure. All right, breaking my arm, patting myself on the back. We have one more chance for glory here.
This one is promising. I don't know did you read the notes already?
Why are you excited? What's up with this store?
So it's, I know you're not a huge fan of closed down properties, but this one is fully stacked with equipment. It's, I did a no, which was completely unintentional. I ran into the landlord. I kept it minimal conversation. I didn't want to get into anything and, take away from what you do best. But basically with the notes, I went next door to see if I could get landlord information. I figured they would be happy to give it, especially since the laundromat next to them was shut down. And turns out that guy running that store is the landlord. So I just told him that I was interested in leasing. We will give you a call next week. And then he kind of blabbered on a couple of things that 3,000 square feet. I don't necessarily believe that, but maybe there's some more room in back I couldn't see from the window, and it was super
Yeah,
bright out.
you're getting ahead on the way that my brain works. So my brain is a gelatinous form, but the way my mind works. So at the end of the day, number one, you say I'm not a fan of closed stores. No, that's not the case. The truth is, we shouldn't fall in love with closed laundromats because many times there's no infrastructure there. In this case, the place has the equipment, so we know that behind that equipment is what we need: the gas, water, electric. When a store has been closed
Yes.
and shuttered, we need to be very cautious and careful, because an operating laundromat, no matter how horrific it is, has exactly what we need. Everything's operating. If you have a yacht
Right.
in the harbor and you only visit once a year, you better lease that yacht out, charter it out, because you want it running. You know this with aircraft. You want to make sure that everything's operating, and the best way to do that is have it moving. Don't gather barnacles. The minute they close a store, we need to be very concerned. Why did it close? Not because of the consumer or the lack thereof. That's all BS. The store's going to make money, especially when you don't have that insurmountable $300,000 price tag, because we don't buy them. Anyway,
Right.
that infrastructure is going to be there in an operating store, no matter how poorly it's operating. Sure, I've seen dozens of stores where there's signs that say no hot water. Okay, no big deal.
Mhm.
Customers are not going to come
Right.
back when your hot water heater is on the fritz. Fix it. Plenty of stores that
Sure.
say, hey, sorry about the stench in here. Well, they haven't cleaned their drains in forever. These are part of doing business. I'm not against a closed store as long as the equipment's there, because no one pulls the equipment, cuts all the copper out, and then gingerly places the equipment back. So I don't care how long it's been
Right.
closed. It doesn't matter what the history is of the location. It is a laundromat. It has what we need. The equipment is still there. And it looks like they're not storing their old mattresses in there quite yet. So
Right.
no big deal. You actually ran into the Lord of the Land where? In what other business capacity? What was he doing?
So the little convenience store next door was locked and had a Ring doorbell, so I rang it, expecting somebody just being back, and came to the door. Nobody
What time
came, so I
was it?
started walking back to my middle of the day.
The middle of the day, and the
It was over
convenience store
lunch.
in St. Paul, Minnesota is closed down with a Ring doorbell. Huh, that's awesome.
Yes, and I know it was lunchtime. Maybe he just went home for lunch real quick. I have no idea.
Sure.
He's the only one running that
Every
store.
time
But
I go to 7-Eleven,
um,
I wonder why there's locks on the doors, right? Open 24
yeah,
hours.
exactly. 100% agree. Yep. So I was going back to my car, and this guy drives up into a truck right next to me, and I basically said, "Hey, I didn't realize I was calling you from home. Sorry about that. I actually don't want to buy anything. I was just wondering if you had the contact information for the landlord. I'm interested in what's going on with this laundromat." And he said, "I'm the landlord." So he said that everything's intact. It does need new floor and new paint, and he was planning on redoing the driveway and the parking lot himself, or having it done. And then
You're killing me. Did you
it
mention
was
the
ready to
laundromat? What
go.
did you say? Where was it left? Did you get his cell phone
Yeah,
number? Okay, so what did you say
yeah,
you
it's
were
in there.
interested in?
Yeah. I said I was interested in a lease, and he said that somebody else had talked to him about leasing the space, and he had to call him back that day, but didn't have an answer at that point if somebody else was going to start leasing from him. But he is wanting to lease that space.
The old standby. I've got a dozen people waiting in line to lease the laundromat. So, bro, I think you understand. You're a highly intelligent guy. You're well spoken. You're well educated. You do some things that most people can't. And at the end of the day, the only reason I say not to talk to them is because it's what you don't say. When he said, "Well, I've got someone
Right.
interested," what I would say is, "Great, have a nice day." Well, wait, because you don't let that tact work. Or when I call, I say, "Well, listen, I've been in the business for almost 20 years, X amount of stores. My partner and I are looking to build it. It's going to be very different, 24/7. You press the nerve. It's closed."
Mhm.
And when he says, "I've already got somebody interested," okay, come over the top as a professional and say, "Well, be careful. If that individual intends to run the place the way it is, they will lose the same way you did. This guy ran the place. It wasn't even worth his time to keep it operating." Think about that.
Right.
He owns the dirt. This is that mentality. Well, hell, I can't even afford to keep the lights on in this place. If he fixed every piece of equipment, did some advertisement, went out of his way to run this place successful. I mean, come on. He's got a C-store with a Ring camera. What a joke. What a joke. Yeah. Without further ado, let's call him up.
Okay, Raid.
Saeed, this is his wireless number. What do you look like so I can say my giant partner, generally speaking? High and tight, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I met with him on Friday, and his name is Raid with an R.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying when I
yep.
You're my partner, so I'm going to say, hey, he's the big guy,
yep.
the little guy. What do you look like?
Yep. Yeah. I'm
slender.
Describe
yourself to the police.
Slender white guy with a just a clean cut haircut, I guess.
Slender white guy.
A Palisade.
Are you wanted by the FBI?
A Palisade.
What?
No, was that a pretty good description, or?
Are you tall?
No.
Okay.
5'9".
Average height, white guy, thin, military type. Yeah. I knew that.
There you go.
You're killing me. We're calling Saeed. All this buildup. Let's see if we can get him on the phone. Here we go.
All right.
You can have yourself two laundromats at once. Subscribe to the channel, you knuckleheads, if you haven't already done so. Otherwise, you'll miss these lives. Raid!
Hello?
Raid.
Yeah.
Raid, my name is Danny. You met with my partner at your convenience store in reference to leasing the laundromat space from you. Want to make sure you understand who we are. You met with Brad in person and you gave him your number.
Yes, but I'm not renting it yet.
Okay.
And I told him that call me after a week and I will let you know.
Absolutely.
So I wanted, like, he's supposed to be call me yesterday, but he didn't do it.
Right. Well, let's do this, right, my friend. Let's move forward instead of back. So we've been in the coin laundry business for 20 years in Minnesota and 2 other states. I'm interested and intrigued in the laundromat space because obviously the gas, water, electric, it's all there, cards on the table. We intend to sign a very long lease with you if terms are acceptable. And we intend to spend probably close to $500,000 on washers and dryers. We don't want to run it the way that it is. We don't have any intention of trying to limit it. Okay, sure. He's got to make change.
Okay, I don't want to hear anything till I know what is going to happen with that guy. So that guy, he have like 5, 6 different laundromat too.
Oh, good. So I've got 36 stores. I've got 36 stores. So it seems funny to me. No, great. Fantastic. I'm not here to rush you into anything. You've got my number. Let me know what happens with that guy. Bye-bye. Now, for a moment, Brad, explain to me how you would have handled that, if any differently than I did.
You told me exactly how you would have approached it if I talked to him in the parking lot.
No, but there's a moment he didn't even want to speak to me.
Yeah.
By the way, I see your cursor. This is a small piece of housekeeping. I'm going to beat you up. I see your cursor sitting there on the document, just not moving. When we're in these calls, I want to see just you going nuts because you'll forget.
Well, he wasn't saying much except for typing on.
Oh, he said a lot.
Working in the laundromat.
He said a lot. And don't worry about it now, but you've got to take the notes in the moment, right? I mean, you've got to I keep picking on you being a pilot, but you've got a transponder in the plane in the black box. God forbid they pull it out of the ocean 3 miles deep and find out everything that happened. It's all recorded. At the end of the day, we'll forget what is said. Here's the thing. Didn't even want to talk. Why? I don't know.
I don't know if it's he's not taking people seriously that are pinging him about it. He's apparently verbally committed to somebody and is stuck on that. But
you and I are former. You said it first. You said, I don't know. I have a guess. I have an inkling. You and I are former military, right? Is it a bad thing? Is it racial profiling if you say that one guy is wearing a certain garb and another guy is wearing a U.S. uniform and, you know, we mix and match? It's not. I'm trying to be careful and cautious. This dude is probably talking to someone who is of his persuasion, perhaps a family member. He doesn't even want to speak to us. I don't know. I wasn't there. You've already apologized and you said, hey, I met with him in person, didn't know it was the landlord. When that happens, if it happens again or it happens to other clients of mine, you need to snap into a character, right? You become the lowest man on the totem pole. Hi there. I'm Brad. I'm part of a real estate investment trust. I'm part of the scouting troop. All I do is look for these properties, see if everything's appropriate and commensurate for our use. And then I need to grab your number and I'll have my people call you, and then shut up. Because when they start asking, when you start saying laundromat, when you start saying, I'm in this business, it becomes a sticky widget. And I understand your heart was probably pounding through your chest. It's new to you. You're standing there. There's the landlord. Oh, Jesus, Danny's on my shoulder. He told me not to talk.
He caught me off guard too. Yeah.
Yeah. No big deal, you know. But the way he reacted almost tells me that he's got family or a friend or someone of his ilk and persuasion. Do you follow me?
Yep.
Okay. And that's fine. We could get into the right to lease act and what's legal and what's not and everything else, but he just didn't want to talk to us. The guy has 5 or 6 laundromats. Great. Good for them. Dude, there's plenty of fish in the sea. We just made a call moments ago to a guy who wants to lease you the spot, right? And you've seen how complacent they are. I've been doing this for so long that I've seen the calls where the landlord literally screams at me, curses at me, hangs up. That's not a burnt bridge because they appreciate the way I talk to them. Just like Bill said, Bill, whose real name is, Saeed or whatever it is, and he appreciates that. Hey, I like your style. I like the way you talk. Yeah, there's no time for bullshit. There truly is not. Anyway, a whole lot of nothing on the second one, but the first call, excellent, fantastic, wonderful. He's got my cell phone number. Anything else before I let you go back into the wild blue yonder?
Yeah, right. I'm good to go.
Okay. What you need to do on the second location, keep an eye on it. And I would like you to set your calendar for 1 month. We'll call him back and say, it's been 30 days, bro. What's up?
Yeah, did that guy ever call you back?
Yep. Bye.
Sounds good. We'll do. All right,
Thanks.
buddy.
Ciao.
See ya.
Like I said, he has my number. I have thousands of landlords' numbers in my phone. You know what I don't have? Your number. I don't want to talk to you today. I'm fielding emails weekly from people. Danny, I live outside Connecticut. I'm going to own 37 stores in the next month. I want to talk to you. Okay. I'm not rude, as is my reputation. I will email them back and say, do me a favor, watch the course. Why? Am I trying to zap that individual for a few $100s? No. There are people on this live that have seen the course. Jump on. How is it? Well, I'm taking a big risk, right? It's guaranteed. Always has been. I'm not going to get salesy. People are going to start jumping off. This isn't a sales pitch. I will tell that individual, for the love of God, get the course so that that first million questions are answered. Everyone wants to be Tom Cruise, Top Gun, shooting down MiGs. But you've got to learn to crawl. You have to learn to fly a prop plane. Start on the Cessna. Trust me, my course is all of the experience I've put in. We last updated it yesterday. I'm adding video content. It's 101 hours right now. It's video content. It's exactly what you love. You're not going to be reading a book. If you are new to this and you're here because you want a laundromat, don't buy one. Laundromats are had for free. The front page of my website, freelaundromat.com, it says I'm the most hated man in the industry, and it's true. I'm whispered about in corners at the trade shows. Oh, what's free laundromat? But if you dig a little deeper, the folks that have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 laundromats, they got burnt on their first one because they jumped in, whole hog, both feet, and they bought one. Dig into their stories if you care to. No sour grapes from me. If it wasn't from failed laundromat operators, we couldn't scoop them up for free. Get it. Start there. Learn to crawl. I'm in the comment section every day, 10 times a day. I love it. It's just like these comments, only it's my clients, your friends, and me talking back and forth. There's little comments and quizzes. It's a lot of fun. John says you're going to be kicking my ass because this is in Minnesota, and he's all concerned. Dude, this has nothing to do with Minnesota. If you're serious about this, let's get on the phone, get out and scout some stores, put the stores in front of me, and you end up here. Our friend Brad doesn't have a laundromat yet. His next step, our next step, is to get into a real conversation with a landlord like Bill. Once we've hammered everything out, we send out my letter of intent that day. That shows that we're serious. It's not, well, let me see what we can do. An LOI goes out only after a meaningful conversation. What's next after this? I've got a dozen videos on letters of intent going out. But I'm not going to send an LOI that says we need 12 months of abatement. You ever heard of free rent? Now you have. It exists in every commercial space. When you see the new Walmart going up on a street corner, they're not paying rent. No way. They're getting tenant improvement money. They're helped with the build out, and they're not paying rent. We're used to renting apartments. First and last month's rent and a security deposit. None of my clients have ever paid it. Again, LOI goes out. We won't be blindsiding that landlord. We don't want them to look at it and ignore it. You see a $2 million home. You're going to write an LOI or go through your realtor and offer $500,000. You'll be ignored. Not even close. Depending on the market, you might be able to shave $100,000, maybe 20. Are you investing? Do you want to live there? Those are all factors. But our letter of intent will include abatement, tenant improvement money, all the things you've never heard of because you don't do this. I do. You want to be in the laundromat business? Talk to me. It's my Mad Max impression. You want gasoline? Too much loud equipment. Okay. I'm reading the comments. Get Danny to call. Thank you. Sorry, I was going to be kicking my own ass. It won't show that because he says arse. Course is fantastic. Watch it. Go to a laundromat and you can find a dozen things they're doing wrong. You could actually become a consultant just off of it. Hey, watch yourself. Hey, the chock full of quarters people. We had purchased a laundromat and then 10 years later bought the DVD. Okay, it was a DVD. It's now a course. And we kick ourselves every day for purchasing. Never again will we buy it. That's chock full of quarters. Those guys are awesome. They've learned some valuable lessons. And guys, I don't know why we are not in this together calling landlords, because you are in for a penny. You must be in for the pound. Stop driving to your donut shop, time to make the donuts every morning at 5 a.m., and go a block in the other direction and realize there's a brand new Krispy Kreme there. You've got to start scouting more stores. How much more time would it take you guys, chock full of quarters? How much more time would it take you to run 3 laundromats or 4 laundromats? It's the same. It's the same. Well, there's an email from Corey from my last live a few minutes ago. I'm not a big fan of one-way conversations, but here we are. Let's have a little bit of fun. So there's not just one-way conversations. Tammy and Greg, chock full of quarters. You better pick up your phone. Because I know you're here.
Hello?
Tammy.
Yeah, hey.
Are you guys joined at the hip? I mean, Greg's in the background. You guys are hilarious. Why does everybody love you so much? I'm like the most hated man on the YouTube channel, and you guys are the most beloved.
Well, I don't have the numbers you have. I think people would rather hate people than love people.
Yeah, well, welcome to the internet. Yeah, you know, we could talk about YouTube forever, but that's boring. I mean, I've never been a YouTuber. I've been on here since 2006, and I always felt like I was sort of putting out commercial content, you know, and that's why I never monetized my channel. I never cared to do any of that. I felt like I was dumping commercials on top of commercials. And when I was on YouTube, they didn't even have it. You know, there was the old blue squares that said how to fix your Toyota Corolla engine and the white lettering, and everybody did the same thing. Well, now we've got Mr. Beast and Investment Joy and Meet Kevin, and billionaires are being created for the first time. Yeah. So look, you know, I'm a no bullshit guy. You know that. You understand it. And the way I used the YouTube machine was all wrong. I was never looking for followers. I'm still not looking for followers. I'd rather have 500 people on my channel that get what I do and they're intrigued on these lives than 50,000 people that are just jumping on there and going, "You don't know how to talk to people." Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How are you?
Good. We're doing fantastic. We are literally I have been waiting to find the laundromat so I can call you to negotiate. You know, I mean, we're having a really tough time with this one guy. He just stopped talking to us. And
well, let's back up first. You know, the earth cooled, the dinosaurs came. What is Tammy and Greg and Chock full of quarters all about? I'd love to hear the story. So why were you? And Greg was a police officer, if I remember.
Yep.
Salt of the earth.
Yeah.
I can't see Greg arresting somebody or hitting somebody with a nightstick. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I know. I mean, he looks too nice, but you know what? It's I don't know.
He's more.
I think people just underestimated him a lot.
No. He's more like a bulldog than a puppy dog, I'm sure. If folks
he
don't
looks like
know,
a puppy dog, but yeah, he'll bite like a bulldog.
You guys are chock full of quarters. I'll put a little link to your channel there. So tell me the history of. I really don't know. Greg was retired, semi-retired. You were retired. What did you do in your former life before the laundromat?
I was also former law enforcement.
Wow.
I ended up moving to Virginia. I left that, moved to Virginia because my daughter went to stay with her dad, who was he was in the military. He was in the Navy. And so I wanted to be closer. And I moved to Virginia, met Greg. We ended up getting married. And I started researching laundromats, and I can't even remember why. But then we found one. We overpaid. We paid $140,000. The economy was collapsing in 2009, and we were losing money out of our 401k. So we tried to get everything moved into cash. We ended up with $70,000. We put half of it down on the laundromat, which was the biggest mistake of our lives because we had no working capital at that point.
So you put half of your life savings.
Oh no, all of our life savings. The price of the laundromat was $140,000. We had $70,000. And
so I apply, and you know me, I'm going to interrupt because of the way my mind works. So God bless you. Most people don't save 70 grand in their entire lives. And between the two of you, you had that money, you had it saved. Mm-hmm. How did you find the laundromat? Do you remember? Was it a broker? Was it online?
Nope. We found this little laundromat that was attached to a convenience store, and it was closed. Couldn't get a hold of the owner. So I called a local distributor. And he's like, "Don't buy that place." He gave me all the reasons why. And he's like, and he says, "Hold on. My son owns a laundromat that he might want to sell." So I was like, you know, and when you find a laundromat, you get really excited. Like It's like Christmas. And so we looked at it. The place was a dump. And my philosophy always in life and business is you can only go up from there.
Sure.
And
sure.
so, and I was like, okay, so it was 140. Nobody told us you could get free laundromats. Nobody told us you could negotiate. Like, I literally paid full price without even negotiating with the guy. And so we couldn't get a loan because everything was collapsing.
All right. We don't know the name. We don't know the Look, I've been saying I'm the most hated man in the industry for so long because of the distributors, because of the industry. You know, if you own a gas station, you might be the guy that has 40 gas stations and you get the best price. And Shell and Texaco and BP, they all can't stand you because I just consulted with some gas station guy the other day, so it's in my head. But you might be hated because you're really good at negotiating and you get a half a cent off, and that's how you make money with gasoline, no matter what the price is.
Yeah.
It's $10 a gallon. Doesn't mean that the gas station owner does well. But in this case, these people are operating with impunity, and they have for so long. If you dig deep enough, we both know, and we'll talk a little bit further at the end about YouTube and the algorithm and what I've learned, and the fact that you guys are YouTubers with chock full of quarters, all spelled out. These distributors are all the same. What do I mean? They're all redheaded with glasses. Now that seems weird, but let me follow up with that analogy. I was asked about 6 months ago on my YouTube chat, someone said, hey, it seems like there's a real issue here with distributors. And I'm not going to be a bash fest here. They're a necessary evil. But why don't I become a distributor and fill that gap? I think I'd be good at it. I want to be honest with people. I want to take their money only when I need to, help them with the business the way Danny does. You know what? I thought about it for about a second, and you probably know the answer. I was like, you can't. You can't just break in and be a distributor. You can't, because they're third generation family members, and you're telling the same story. You're telling me that this distributor who should be selling equipment said, oh, my son owns a store. So not picking on redheads, but you can't break in and become a better mousetrap because they've been around for so long. It's a family business.
Yeah, in the end, we were kind of a little bit of the exception, because even though we overpaid for this place and we built what we built, it took us a very long time to get where we are today.
Yeah.
And it's because of these people.
Well,
not because we were paying.
You paid $140,000, which is insurmountable.
Yes.
Imagine if you had your $70K in your bank account, or you had moved it into gold, and you scooped up a laundry. We get that. No sour grapes, but we're trying to explain to some people on the live that don't understand what is free laundromat.
Exactly. Absolutely. I'll tell you, if we hadn't had to have paid for this place, we would be on our third retool, not our first.
Right.
We would have been so much further along. There was never, especially for this place, because it was so bad. And I really hope people are listening.
Wait a minute. You bought the place. You know how important the lease is. What was the condition and disposition of the lease? Let's call him Bob. So the distributor's kid was the leasee. He was the tenant.
No, they were the building is owned by somebody else completely different. The building owner was actually. This distributor built out this laundromat for them back in the 70s.
Okay.
And so this guy still owns
grandfather.
The grandfather. Well, they're not related, but so I'll tell you something. What we found out was that we ended up, our lease was only $500 a month when we signed in 2008. And he had said to us at a meeting, and this is what he said to us. He goes, I'm not really sure why you're all doing this, because we all know what the laundromat business is like. He was very down on it because he had lost money in it, because,
the landlord, again, we have to start from the beginning. So the landlord had operated it. This distributor built it for him, and he couldn't understand why. It was never profitable, or he just didn't remember when it was.
Well, he was he believed it was passive. He wasn't very active in it.
No
he let
advertisement, no telephone network,
nothing.
No attendant, none of that.
Nope.
Sure.
Nothing.
What a joke.
So he ended up, so he just wanted to get money out of the building. And so we were happy with that we had a low lease, because we were having to pay back this the person we got the business from, for the next 10 years as a owner finance. And I'll tell you, on the day that I got to pay it off, I drove to him like cussing, I'm swearing, just how much I hated this man for, the bad equipment, the way that they had said it, all this crap that had bubbled up. And I couldn't get him paid off fast enough. And I wanted nothing more to do with him. And finally, and Danny, I've told you this before, you were the motivating factor for us to do better and to retool.
That is,
we didn't get to. Yes, it really was. We bought your DVD. We were trying to do a free laundromat with a place that was an hour and a half away. And Greg and I looked at each other and said, why aren't we being better at our own place? So we might not have gotten a free laundromat that one time from you, but I will tell you this right now, I will never, ever pay for anything ever again, another laundromat ever again. And it's because of you. And if people can't hear that, then they really don't want to own a laundromat.
Well, look,
I'm telling you.
You said I'm big, but I'm not. And there's 1,000 voices in your ear. And when my name comes up in those quiet, so you guys have ever been to the Clean Show?
Yeah, we just went this year.
Okay.
Yep.
How was the Clean Show?
Wonderful. I don't know why we waited so long. Again, it's Greg and I look at each other and we're like, we're so stupid. Why have we waited so long to do all of these things that are going to make us better?
Sure.
Why did it take us so long to find you? Why did it take us so long to go to the Clean Show? We don't know.
It's a networking thing. When my family and I ski Aspen every year, it turns out it's usually my birthday week. So in the first week of February, that's when the dental convention is always in Aspen, Colorado. And those guys aren't there to talk about teeth. They're there to ski.
Yeah.
They have one in Florida in the summer and one in Aspen in the winter because they want a high roller and show up and drink champagne and eat squab and caviar. I'm right there with them. And it's always funny because you can't see the dentists on the slopes, but it's the people. That's really what these conventions are about. That's what our thing in Vegas is about, where you guys had better have your spiel ready. And look, I appreciate your saying that. Obviously, this was not planned. I saw you on there, and I've had your number for a long time. At the end of the day, I'm not looking for you to push people into that, but
it's not. I'm not pushing anybody. I want you to understand that. Like, Danny, I'm a very honest person, and I'm upfront because I'm from New England. There are things that you say that drive me bonkers, okay? And there are a few things that I disagree with you about, but I am telling you what you talk about is true. And I'm not, I'm just here to let other people know, like, what you say is true.
What drives you bonkers? I want to know that.
The whole white. Okay, you ready? The whole painting your store white. I'm a little. Yeah. The whole
guess what,
coin
Tammy?
Thing. It always has to be coin.
You're a woman, and you're the one here. I'm going to get myself in even more trouble. When I always tell most operators are men, right? For whatever reason, and I'm like, keep your wife out of the designing process because she's going to want to put ferns in the store and she's going to want to paint it with bubbles. All I'm saying is, you guys, I've seen all your videos. You guys have a huge storefront with all glass. A lot of these stores don't have that. A lot of these stores are bowling alleys. And trust me, if you paint them white, the day you come back the next day, you walk in and you're like, what just happened? It's just a refraction of light. It's just the smartest way to do it. They're hospitals. They want to be white and they want to be clean. And plus, if you paint them pure white without any pigment, you can get a can of Kilts and spray paint over any smudges, messes, graffiti. It happens. But anyway, I'll argue with you on everything. And the coin thing, if you're doing coin and card, fantastic. If you're Luke and Lee Williford and you've got 40 stores, depending, 80 stores by some recollection, fantastic. But with your first store, keep it simple. And, the distributors will sell you a $90,000 system that you don't need. And it's hard to keep them running if they go down. But I'm assuming you're a hybrid store?
Yeah, we have coin and mobile app. Okay. And Greg is really pushing. So Greg's pushing for the card. I'm not so much right now because I feel that my customer base is not going to be too happy with the conversion of card. yet. And the reason Greg wants to go card is because he's sick and tired of collecting coins. That's his big bitch.
That's part of it.
Yeah,
Sure.
you know, like that's a bad problem to
But
have.
guess what?
You know,
if you've really followed my materials, that's precisely what I say. A distributor will talk to you about the card system for an hour, and everything they say is true. They'll tell you till they're blue in the face that it's a wonderful system for you, the operator. All true. They'll tell you you don't have to collect coin any longer. Absolutely. They'll go on for 7 hours and buy you lunch, and they'll tell you how it helps and benefits you, the operator, on your taxes, on everything else. All true. What they never mention is that pesky consumer. And you're over here more on my side than Greg, saying, you know what? Our customer base, which is a fancy word for the people that like to come to your store, they want coin. So a hybrid, look, I have to be opinionated because I know what has worked for me and I know what is still working for my people.
right.
Bigger. So you bought the place, then you finally retooled it. I really want to know, why aren't you out scouting? There's got to be, where are you? What city are you in?
We're in Roanoke, Virginia. We are scouting, and so I'm getting ready to. So there's this one place, a couple cities down. It's about a 40-minute drive away that we really want. He's been shut down since COVID. He's got crap equipment in there, and we're just having whatever communication problems we're having. But we are scouting other places, and what we're running into is there aren't a lot of. Okay, so there's this one laundromat that is closed down. And we're choosing not to go there is because there is a shooting on that corner every single night, and I'm not willing to risk.
Well,
anybody.
It's not like you guys are former law enforcement or anything.
Well, it's not really about me. So I and this is a story that I tell people. I have a customer who comes in generally every other night to do laundry for her and her 3 grandchildren. Her house is 2 streets over. She comes to our laundromat. She lets the kids sleep in the back of the van in hopes that they won't get shot in the middle of the night. And this is why,
we're going to get into this philosophical discussion about good versus evil and all of that. Look, all you can do is provide a service, and you're telling me that you're fearful about taking over a store in a bad neighborhood. Well, imagine if where does Walmart go? They go into bad neighborhoods. They're not fearful. They have policies in place, such as signing rights to trespass that I talk about. Again, I need to email. You need to email me, by the way, because the DVD you keep talking about has been a 101-hour course for a while. So I'm going to plug you into it so you can look at it on the computer and get the refreshers that you need and interact with people.
Cool.
Obviously, if anybody's on here who's a DVD person, email me. I'll hook you up. At the end of the day, you can't be fearful because laundromats don't exist in Beverly Hills. They're not in the good neighborhoods.
In our neighborhood, our neighborhood isn't all that great either. We just don't have as many shootings. And, listen, Danny, I'm a good shot, but you know what? I can't, I'm not bulletproof. I'm not,
You're nowhere near as good a shot as I am.
Probably not. But again, this is some of the things. And we're also looking at other places that we could actually possibly, and I know this is to build one out. It's not what I want to do. I'd rather just get something with the infrastructure.
We're just have to go hold hog into it, and you need to decide this is not another week, another month, another year. This is our vocation now. We're running the store. It's doing well. It's been retooled. Imagine in a year you've got 3 more stores. It's life-changing.
Yeah.
You can't let the little
absolutely.
things...
Yes, and Greg and I know that. We realize after how much we have increased business almost 400% after the retool. We get that. We know that. It's just, I want the better location, and I want where I know I'm just going to have better customers.
Okay.
I'm tired
so why
of
are
dealing
you
with a lot of the
fixating
bullshit.
on a closed laundromat? Because most people do. You need to go look at the operating stores that are in these neighborhoods that you like. Come on.
Okay.
You're not going to paint bubbles on the wall and put ferns in. You need to find the stores, scout the stores. If you find that 20% of the equipment is out of order, these indications of failure from the course. You need to call the landlord. And if you want me to do it, reach out. We'll do it together. We'll make a big yuck out of it, and we'll get it done. That's all. You just need to commit to it.
Yes, exactly. I know you're right, Danny.
I'm
I know
always
you're right.
I'm always right. Listen, I love you guys. I think everybody does. And at the other thing about YouTube is this, that how much of Brandon Schlichter had to do with you creating a YouTube channel? Oh, don't
Okay,
lie to
you know,
me.
yeah, okay, 100%. And it wasn't about, well, hold on a second. Wait, hold on a second. So it wasn't about the clicks he was getting or what he was, it was what he was, look, a lot of people we have found, everybody thinks this is passive, you don't have to do anything. And this is what creates opportunities for people to get free laundromats. Is these crappy, we were a zombie store. We got to the point where we were almost a zombie store until we got your DVD and you kicked us in the ass. And
yeah,
you
and I want to interrupt again. So the thing about it,
okay.
the course, God damn it, the thing about the course is it's not just getting a free laundromat. It's not just what you need to do with the lease. It's not that. And speaking of Brandon, he reached out in 2019, October of 2019, when his video went viral and 7 million. He was getting DMs. He was getting notes on his YouTube left and right. If you don't, I mean, let's not send anybody to his channel, right? But he doesn't need it. Brandon, Investment Joy, he's a huge TikToker now, and he's doing all this stuff. He drugged me kicking and screaming into TikTok. It's another story for another day. So Brandon emails me and says, "Hey guys," that's my Brandon impression. "Danny, I want to do a crossover with you. I want you to do some affiliate marketing with me." And I was like, "It doesn't fit." No. Here's the biggest laundromat YouTuber on the planet. And hopefully somebody's going to get in touch with him right now. And I said, "No, it doesn't make sense. You don't know what I do. You have a laundromat, sure.
Yeah.
You do the coin. It's more like an ASMR coin collection." He admits to all of that. We've become very good friends because I was like, "Dude, we're emailing back and forth. Here's my number." We got on the phone, and I'll never forget. I said, "Well, what do you think about what I do?" And he's like, "Well, I have a conscience." And I was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" He goes, "You take people's laundromats away." I was like, No. Let's get that. I literally used the F word, and he was kind of taken aback. And I said, "Listen, I'm not going to change who I am. Like you said, former Navy, I use that as an excuse. I'm using the words at my disposal." So I said, "What does that mean?" And, "Well, I said, "Dude, you don't blame the repossessor when your car is taken. You don't blame the bank. You blame your circumstance. These stores are decrepit. They're not servicing the community, and it's disgusting. And that might not be your circumstance. But then now there is, including you, and God bless you for admitting 100%, there's 28 channels about laundromats on YouTube. And guess what? A lot of them are gone now. They tried to go crazy and because Brandon said, we made $30,000 on this video. He's so transparent. Okay, it's the algorithm. It's the help you get from that. I curse on my channel. They're never going to anoint me. They're never going to love me the way they do others, because I'm not going to kowtow to them. You were saying, so 100%. Go ahead.
100%. But what bothered me about Brandon was he really was just showing the money.
Yeah.
And we didn't like that. I mean, it was kind of like we wanted to show more we kind of started out showing some money, but we wanted to be realistic about it as to here's what here's what a regular laundromat makes, but here's all the other crap that you got to deal with. And here's what happens when you buy a laundromat. You got all these other expenses. And it was just, I wanted something different. And
in his defense, and I don't need to come to anyone's defense, he does give the everything. He even does, and you've seen it, he does lengthy discussions about what his store earns. And guess what? I need to text him right now. I can't do 3 things at once. Speak all right. I literally can't chew gum and walk. So when it comes to tech, to his credit, he does give all of that information.
He does show.
But you need to watch
but
the 28-minute horrific video of, you know, what he does
Whatever.
and how he does it.
So this is how I kind of explain, like when people, so last week, Greg and I were at the insurance company trying to get life insurance. And my insurance, he looked at us and he's like, wait a minute, you guys own the laundromat, right? And I said, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I watched this guy, you know, Brandon.
He knew
and I looked at,
Brandon.
and Greg rolls his eyes and he's like, have you ever watched Chock Full of Quarters? And he's like, no, who are they? And he's like, I'm like, so you want to buy a laundromat? And he's like, yeah. He goes, look at all that money. And I said, and I literally just shook my head. I'm like, it's not about the money. He's like, yes, it's always about the money. And I said, okay. I said, why don't you come on down today? I said, I got a drain I got to clean out. I'm going to let you stick your freaking hand up in there and let's see what you come back with. And he's like, you want me to do what? And after I explained for 10 minutes what it's like to own a laundromat, he's like, I think I'll stick with insurance.
Yeah.
And this is what we wanted people to understand. And it's not we're saying that Brandon's bad. That's not what we're saying. Like, this is, Brandon's little laundromat great. Makes this much money.
He fills a niche. And, you know,
I do believe, though, Brandon, like, I think everybody has their special gifts. You are definitely like the master of negotiations. I think Brandon is really great at, I love watching his videos about his properties.
Yeah.
I think he's wonderful at it.
He's a great teacher. He's a great guy. He's become a good friend. And I will defend, you know, when I break bread with somebody, it's a very different thing. That's just me. So hats off to him for what he's done and what he's built. We're not going to see a video about Brandon being hauled away in handcuffs anytime soon. Mark the date and time. You know, he's a great guy. When I visit Ohio, he's out the door at 5:45. He's home with his family by 6 o'clock. And it's just, you know, Central Ohio is different from Virginia. It's different from Phoenix. I've made a commitment to travel the universe. I'm wearing, you're watching me, so I'm wearing my Formula One jersey. Congrats to Max Verstappen for becoming the world champion second time. Most American, Investment Joy's on here. Uh-oh. Now you're in trouble. Anyway,
somebody called him and told him that Tammy was talking crap about him.
I said, we're talking about your penis, so you better jump on.
Jesus.
He said he'll turn. Oh, no. Now he's being hilarious to me with the Texas. All right, hold on. Stay where you're at. I'm going to call his ass up. Let's just get the whole gang on here. This I can do, I think. You can talk while I'm dialing. A little dialing music, Paul.
Oh, okay.
I have a bunch of numbers for him. I don't know if this is the right one. All right, I'm just going to tell him to call me. Brandon, call me. Dial me. We have our, you know, when you're friends with people for a while, you get these little codes. And when he came to Arizona, he told me it was the first time he was west of the Mississippi. And again, just a great, genuine guy. There he is. Look at that.
Real quick.
What are you doing right this very minute?
He's there.
Yo, it's me, the entire YouTube internet, as you well know, and Tammy or Greg from Chock Full of Quarters. You probably follow them a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched, I probably watched a half dozen of their videos or so.
Look at you.
Cool.
Well, I watch all of your videos, Brandon.
I'm sorry for that, but
that's okay. I know you're busy. You're busy.
No, when I tell people that, they don't believe me. Or you and I just laugh about how is it viral? How does it work?
Yeah.
Someday you'll get a hook, and someday you'll get your niche, and people will start following you. B Money.
Yeah, someday.
What are you doing right now?
I was just doing a change out of my car wash and refilling soap and stuff, and I'm driving to the other car wash now. Did a change out of the laundromat probably 2-3 hours ago. I was down there looking. We've been implementing fluff and fold quite a bit, and was dealing with that too. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is the girl upstairs doing your fluff and fold?
Yes, she is.
She is. Okay.
The problem with her doing fluff and fold for me was and continues to be she cannot get a client to save her life. And it doesn't want to hang around all day waiting for someone to show up with drop off.
Yeah.
So it's like a chicken and the egg thing. But what we had happen was I literally met a guy on the street that was in charge of a ton of Airbnbs. And I said, so when are you going to hire my company to do fluff and fold for you? And he said, tomorrow. And I said, I'll give you the door code right now that you can enter my laundromat at any given time. And you're up it off. We'll wait for you to take care of it. And he came by with a van load of drop off the next day.
Nice.
Wow.
So, and he's been bringing a good bit of laundry every Tuesday now. We're probably a month into it, and it'll boost my revenues.
Listen,
boost the revenue, but we'll have people there.
The both of you silly motherfuckers, this is my channel, so I'm going to take over and say this. Tammy and Greg need to be out scouting laundromats to build a real empire. And you, Brandon, I've told you forever, you've got my number. And I love that because I do preach. You need to be the one to do the marketing because we've got your young lady upstairs who's got the apartment, who's the perfect fit. In my experience, when we have people that have an apartment upstairs, man, CCTV, they're there all the time. You know, she's lived a life where she's not exactly a go-getter. God bless her. So you're giving her a business, but you can't allow her to be the head bottle washer, to run the business, to be there every day, to be security, and do the marketing. So you've learned. You're the one that needs to go out, get those clients, and then she's going to say, wait a minute, I went from making $30 a day to making $300 a day, or whatever is realistic. Now it's gold. And eventually, if she falters or trips, and I don't mean physically, or falls apart, you say, look, I've got to cut ties because I've got $600 a week coming through the door in wash, dry, fold, and I'm going to hand this apartment to somebody else. No sour grapes, but you know, that video that we made together, man, I go in there every now and then and look at the comments, and it's like,
how dare he talk to someone that way, Brandon? You're a good man, and he's not.
Okay, whatever. It's business. So you're the one that's going to have to become that marketer. In any large or even small company, everyone's got their niche to fill. Tammy and Greg have theirs. Shelly runs the household here. And at the end of the day, you've got to pull those accounts in. And now you've got a real bargaining chip with that employee of yours. So I applaud you for that. I'm sure there's a video coming.
Oh, yeah, there's several. I'm now like probably 3 to 4 on content. And the one we shot last week was the fact that I've introduced or involved my office worker, Kim, who I think you've had a couple conversations with her. She's the one that actually goes down and holds my girl upstairs feet to the fire when things are filthy, when things aren't done right. And I've given Kim essentially my permission to fire whoever she wants to inside the company. And she uses that to a much better advantage than I do because I'm the nice guy. And then Kim's the one that can withhold a paycheck, which she's already had to do for the place being filthy.
Yeah. I like it.
So, and that happens one time, and all of a sudden it works. But would Brandon be the guy to withhold a paycheck? No, because I'm too nice. And people can pull the rug out from under me, put the wool over my eyes. They don't really get past my work. She wants some money. And I told her, I can make sure that every so often maybe a 20 or 50 ends up on your desk on accident. And, if that accidentally ends up from the laundromat changer to her desk, it's a miracle.
I think you understand this, especially through our relationship with editors. And you remember back in the day, I said, bro, I'm coming out, but you're going to have a professional shooter there. And you've learned, I'm not taking credit because eventually you would have figured these things out on your own, but having someone there with the camera instead of fumbling with the GoPro on your head is the way to go. And, meet Kevin aside, who gets up at 4 a.m. and does all his own stuff, which seems crazy to me. You've got to learn how to farm this stuff out. Imagine for a moment, if you had a go-getter in that apartment, and they're going to be elderly. It's not going to be some 20-year-old kid that's going to come down and sweep up the laundromat. It's going to be somebody who needs a place to live, but also can't spell the word entrepreneur, but they've wanted to own a business their whole life. So be prepared to kind of maybe churn through people until you find the right soul, and you'll be so much happier for it. This person exists. We can't build them out of sand, but they're out there.
Yeah. So my biggest struggle, over the past couple of years, as I'm sure you guys have seen, is just being able to do that at scale, because some of these problems, the laundromat I also have at the car wash. But the difference between my car wash and my laundromat operation is I've got a very go-getter partner on the car wash who does the hiring and firing for me. And that's the kind of situation I'm trying to deal with in the laundromat. And now that I have the person in Kim who's helping me with the hiring, firing aspect of it, I'm hands-offing it. It's just a situation of we can start churning through those people to get the right team or the right person at the laundromat dealing with fluff and fold, but then who's also able to, fire the people that need it, go and, run a white glove over the washes and say, hey, this is filthy. You're not getting paid this week.
Right. Now, I will attest to the fact that you are truly that kind and you are really that nice. Me, on the other hand, I wish I lived in Central Ohio, or at least had an office there or a PJ, because I will happily fire people. I think when I was 14, my life's dream was not to be a dentist or a lawyer. I wanted to be a corporate axe. I just want to fire people. That would be great. There's some George Clooney movie about it. I'm just glued to the edge of my seat. Well, listen, I appreciate both of you, and the YouTube stuff aside, I think that I've never met Tammy. We'll all see each other in Vegas, and I consider you guys friends. There's been some elements that come into YouTube recently with laundromats, people that are trying to build some kind of a following on YouTube, and not to shed any light on any other channels or anything, but people have come and gone. They've tried to build courses. They're trying to, get involved in that. By the way, Brandon has a course that I'm a part of, and again, working with a friend is the most important thing to me. We don't have a contract. It's a handshake, because I know the man. And at the end of the day, if you can do business that way in Central Ohio, New York, LA, or anywhere in the world, what is a contract? It's something someone's going to break, and they're going to send the lawyers in. And I'd rather have the handshake. It means more.
Yeah. So everybody that's listening to this is coming to see us in Vegas, right?
Everybody. If they go to my channel and they click the link, I'll be a little happier. But if they go to your channel, and even Tammy has a link, so we need to do a crossover about Vegas.
Yes.
Second week in January, we're doing the downtown thing. It's my Vegas roundtable. We've done it before. It's a couple $1,000s, kids. But guess what? You're going to meet Brandon. He's got some people that'll be there. All the folks that have YouTube channels, like following Keenan, chock full of quarters, we're going to be there hanging out. Even my friend Chris Atkins with Car Wash Chronicles. I'm not going to call him. We're not going to get we should have everybody on the next one. Yeah. I do webinars every now and then when I have an itch I want to scratch. So I'll set up for the next webinar and we'll all jump on board. Anything else, Tammy, that you really want to say to Brandon and how he can make his channel better and get more followers?
No, I don't. I know there's nothing I need to tell him. I just, I told you the reasons why I watch and, why we started our channel. And it's our channels are very different. And I hope people understand when they watch Brandon that owning a business just isn't about the money. That there's a little bit more to it. That's all. I have nothing bad to say about Brandon.
No, not to his face.
But you have motivated us to do what we do. That I can tell you, though. So
it is. Yeah. I'll leave everybody with this. Thank you both for being on board. Thank you to all the people that are following. And I'll leave you with this. You're right, Tammy. It's not about the money. It's the shit you buy with it.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Danny.
Later.
So I'm going to see